WeeKett Smart Wi-Fi Kettle Review. WeeKett's new Smart Wi-Fi Kettle is a multi-temperate modern jug kettle with a difference. It has a range of clever capabilities, but even without them, it's an intriguingly attractive product with some useful abilities. This is a 1-liter pot, with a capacity of 500 milliliters. It has clear plastic measuring spoons on either side, covering both left and right-handed users. Unfortunately, these spoons only measure teaspoons, not tablespoons, and they're marked with moldings rather than painted, so they can be hard to read. I also found them inaccurate, reporting the full volume of the pot when it contained just half a cup. The WeeKett Smart Wi-Fi Kettle has a fine mesh limescale filter in its spigot, and a button on its handle lets off its lid. It's not exactly in the best spot, but it's not too difficult to operate with your thumbs. When pouring from a full kettle, be careful not to pour too aggressively so that you don't spill any of the contents over the sides of the pot. Like many multi-temperature kettles, the WeeKettle's base has a small display screen. There are controls for 70F, 80F, 90F and 100F, as well as ones for starting boiling and keeping the water hot. Press the power switch, and the kettle starts off by default at a full boil, but you can choose a target temperature before pressing the start-stop switch. Unfortunately, there's no baby feed function. You'll need the companion mobile application instead. You may wonder if something as simple as a teapot requires smart controls. But once connected to SmartThings, you could control the heat settings via an iOS or Android smartphone or tablet. And if you're willing to pay £99 for a Wi-Fi hub, you'll also get a remote that lets you adjust the setting without leaving your home. You can schedule heating up water using the smart thermostat from SmartThings. For example, you can set a weekly boil at the same times every week. If you want to ensure that you're always waking up to hot water, you can turn on the heat mode when you go to bed. The app also supports speech recognition via Amazon Alexa or Google Assistant, enabling you to give instructions, including turn down the temperature to 40 degrees Celsius. Which I would have loved to have used when bottle feeding my infant child in the dead of night. This functionality could be particularly useful for those with impaired motor skills, though. Unfortunately, as with any delayed activation, you do need to keep your kettle full of hot water. Thankfully, there's an automatic shut-off if the water runs dry. The WeeKett Smart Wi-Fi Kettle offers 2 ways to connect to your wireless router. However, I was unable to use the quick mode, but the slow mode worked perfectly, and it took no time at all. The WeeKett Smart Wi-Fi Kettle has a modest 2.1 kW heating element, while the best kettles are usually near 3 kW. So it'll take longer to heat your water than some others, but still manage to do so in under 1 minute. It also manages to boil around 500 milliliters of cold water in just over an hour, which is pretty good. Kettles don't tend to differ greatly in energy usage, no matter how fast they're running, but the WeeKett is on the efficient end. The smaller boiler used 0.07 kilowatt-hours, while the larger one took 0.16 kilowatt-hours. These are equivalent to the lowest figures I've recorded. Boiling 500 milliliters 5 times a week would cost you about £36 a season, or £7 cheaper than the least efficient kettles I've tested. As soon as I plugged in the WeeLink, its base consumption was just under 1 watt. Within a few minutes. However, this had fallen well below the 0.1 watt threshold needed by my meter. This indicates that WeeLink's standby energy use is almost entirely negligible. After 1 hour of boiling, 500 milliliters of water had reached 54.5 C, and 1.5 liters of water had reached 73.7 C. Both are significantly hotter than the average temperature of most plastic or painted steel kettles, which is a good sign.